Hello! We are celebrating this year the 20th anniversary of the European Week of Regions and Cities. And so today I have with me some guests to talk about different subjects. So we're going to talk mainly about the housing problem and also about sustainability. So with me today are Michel Reisberman. So you are the Regional Minister of European Affairs for the region of Flevoland. And then we also have Timm, and you are from the Stockholm region EU office. Maybe we can start with speaking about the European Week. Maybe we can start with you, Michiel. Can you tell me if that week is useful, and if so, how so?
I think this is my sixth EU week where
Already?
I'm taking part. Yeah, already. So I've been to a few, and I really missed it during COVID when we didn't have it on site, because I think it's very important to be able to meet with colleagues from all over Europe and exchange experiences and be inspired. So it's really valuable for me to be here, and I missed it when we couldn't be here.
And for you, was it also useful the times? I don't know how many times you attended, but...
Well, it's the first time that I'm attending as a part of an event, actually, and it's very exciting. And I can only agree that it is very useful to have this forum to discuss common challenges, develop cooperation, and simply work together.
And so, Michiel, maybe you can tell me if you had maybe some useful discussions with other regions, and give me an example of a way it helped your region.
I think one of the things you see when you come here is that the problems you face at home as a politician, as I am, are not as unique as you think. So you come to different parts of Europe, to people who are from different parts of Europe, who have completely different experiences, you think, but when you talk about it, it boils down to the same kind of challenges. We have a fishing community in my province, and I've met people from Bretagne in France, and they have more or less the same problems, and they're dealing with the same things, for instance, dealing with Brexit. And this is really eye-opening to be able to share the experiences and talk about the way we dealt with them.
Can you tell me, Michiel, what's maybe the biggest challenge that your region is facing today?
The biggest challenge we're facing today is what we call in the Netherlands the housing crisis. We have a lot of houses we need to be built, and we will be building so many houses in the coming 2 decades that the population of my province will double. So we really need a lot of new houses, new schools, new theatres, new roads. And we all need to do it in a very sustainable and circular way. And, so this is really a challenge we face.
And how can the cohesion policy help you in that way?
We want to do it really in a nature-inclusive way. So we're looking for very innovative ways to do this. We're looking for new ways to build or construct houses. And we're using cohesion policy projects to really do some innovative things to be able to build these new ways of housing that are better than energy neutral, with a circular way of building. So it's a way we can really build part of a new society.
Can you give me maybe one example?
Well, one of the projects we're working on is to make more wood-based buildings. So we in the usual way in the Netherlands to build houses is with bricks and concrete, but we really want to do it with wood, which can be locally sourced and much more energy neutral.
Maybe I'm wrong, but hasn't the Ukrainian war impacted the cost of wood?
Oh yeah.
Has it affected the way maybe the projects are going?
All building materials have been risen like 30 to 50% in price at least, from steel to concrete. And locally sourced wood is one of the things that is more stable in price. So that's also a way to do it. But we initially started doing it for the sustainability aspect.
And Rebecca, is it the same for the Stockholm region? Are you facing the same challenges, or?
I know we're working a lot on efficiency, energy efficiency when it comes to housing. So that's also one part that we're working with as a part of transition into a more sustainable way of living and thinking. And another aspect of that is sustainable mobility, so the transport sector. And that is something that we're working with, that I know of. We're using different funds from the cohesion policy. So one example is a project called Fordonsdalen, which is like a vehicle valley, maybe in English, and that is working on the transition into a sustainable modes of transport, interconnected, fossil-free, and that is of course something that we share with many other regions in Europe. So I do know that transport is an issue that we are working with within the cohesion policy on a European level.
One of the projects we're doing in that field is what we call power parking, where you have like canopies on over the places where you park your car with solar panels on it.
Yeah.
But you can also use the batteries of the cars that are parked there as a storage of energy. So you're trying to integrate the use of the electrical vehicles there and the charging of it with the cohesion policy subsidy. So that's
I know that if we're talking about charging stations and so on, that's also a big topic that is discussed. Meaning if you want to travel across borders, it's a good thing if you know that there's the same distance between charging stations. If you want to take electric vehicle, or if you want to take train, that you maybe don't have to do so many stops and change trains because the tracks are the same, it's adapted.
And is this something you are already talking about with other regions?
I believe so. I believe this is a discussion on European level. So in our different networks, we're definitely discussing different modes of transport and the issues, the shared issues, which also include maritime transport, obviously, considering that Stockholm region is a maritime region and have a big archipelago and lots of islands. There are different projects also there connected to the cohesion funds.
And then, so we spoke about the challenges you are facing now, but do you foresee any future challenges? Maybe we can start with you, Michiel.
I think the energy will be a future challenge we have. So if we have all the houses built, we need, of course, to do this mainly on an electrical basis, no fossil fuels anymore. So it will be a real challenge to have an electrical grid and a power supply that's really fit for the future. So that's something we will be building over the coming decades, I think.
And are there maybe already other regions more advanced in that field that you can take as examples to help you?
I guess. So I hope to meet this week with a lot of regions who already solved the problems we're facing.
Okay. And then Rebecca, I don't know if you're also thinking about other challenges that might come.
I think
soon.
all of the projects that we have are currently focusing on the future challenges. So some of the things we mentioned, like energy efficiency transport, maritime transport, and so on. I know we have projects regarding tourism on the islands, for example, also connected to the cohesion funds. So there are a lot
And why?
Because sometimes the roads to different islands are not as known or used, and this is something that you can work with from a touristic point of view, and then you can work on it from a sustainable point of view with the modes of transport that you use. So that's something that's ongoing right now. Otherwise, I think it's the second program period that is coming from 2028 that we're already starting to look at, because you have to be proactive, obviously, if you want to affect.
Do you have contacts with other islands? Probably it's a different problem that you are facing than regions that are in the mainland.
I mean, we share the archipelago also with Finland, so I know one of the projects includes both the Finnish and the Stockholm region islands, for example. So that's a project in common, and I'm sure many other maritime regions are facing similar challenges.
For the current programming period, we work together with in the Cohesion Alliance with a lot of regions from all over Europe. And I think for the coming program period, you just mentioned it, we will have to really keep an alliance like that, because we really want to have a cohesion policy that's focused on solidarity and growth across Europe. And I think we really need to meet people here in this week and build our networks and see that we can really have an effective cohesion policy. And that's something we need to work on for the long term too.
Definitely, and work together with other regions. As for our event, we're using the network that we have, which is Capital Cities and Regions Network, CCRN. And the theme we chose was Empower Youth, and specifically young female in the tech industry, because we see a challenge there when it comes to competences and solving those in an early stage. This gender inequality issue is also something that the cohesion report is mentioning. So that's a future challenge that we who are collaborating in this are seeing.
And do you already see maybe some improvement in that field?
I certainly hope so. I can't say straight off, but since we are 4 different or 5 different capital cities, Stockholm, Riga, Budapest, and some more, we are all having different projects already in this topic. So I mean, that shows that it's a current issue.
Yeah, I think 5-6 years ago I was meeting a lot more people like me, middle-aged white men, and now the percentage of younger people, women, people with a different ethical background is really changing. So I'm really happy to see more diversity.
And do you feel that people are taking advantage of that diversity?
Yeah, I think so, because if you have a more diverse group of people to work with, you get more creativity, more different solutions, and so you get a better quality of solutions and decision making. So I think it's something we're really doing now, and it's good to see that it's working, or at least in the early stages. We're not there yet.
Well, I think it's a good way to end our conversation. So I want to thank you both, and I want to thank you for watching. Goodbye.